The following is a video presentation of a morning worship service at Orrville Baptist Church.
You'll see in the back of your bulletin, you'll find inside your bulletin, we do remember retaining Academy offering, continue to pray for that, and how you can give to that to support local and world missions. A couple of changes, a little bit of last minute stuff. There is scheduled for today, and a couple people got me the message already. Help me in relaying that. There's more about there. Church council at 3 o'clock. We're going to have to postpone that meeting and reschedule. So if you're in the church council, look at your calendar for the next couple of Sundays and see if you've got an open Sunday. Tomorrow, Monday, August the 12th, is the Linda Office Prayer Group. That is being in Hayes Building, so remember that. And of course, Wednesday, we'll make sure you know that you are invited. And we'd love to see you for our Bible study over in the Hayes Building. Be in prayer for the deacons Thursday as they meet. Usually meet on Tuesday, so if you're a prayer warrior and you fill up your Tuesdays praying for the deacons, you can still do that on Tuesday, but I'm going to ask that you would also do it on Thursday as they meet. And then lastly, I want to mention for next Sunday, looking forward to that. I hope you're excited for this. Frank Archer is going to speak and be presenting some things that they've shared and been able to see in the mission field, that sort of stuff. And just ask that you would be in prayer for Frank next week as he presents to you and as he speaks to you. I pray that God is already preparing in his heart words to say. So we pray that you will come and worship together for that. It should be a special time. So let's go to the Lord for a moment of prayer as we prepare our hearts for worship, as we join for corporate worship to glorify Him this morning. Always bargaining with God. And I remember one in particular. the silliest, absolute silliest prayer that I can remember. I'm sure there was others. But I remember I did not prepare for an exam at all. At all. No excuses. I had zero excuses. I simply did not prepare. And I needed a decent grade. I remember having that prayer. God, if you're out there, and if you are who you say you are, and if you're listening to this little idiot here in South Carolina, if you'll just help me pass, if you'll just help me during that exam, if you'll just give me the answers I need at the right moment and the right time, I'll do whatever you want. I'll live a life, whatever you want. Just reveal yourself, let me know who to follow, let me know what the truth is, I'll do whatever you ask. This will show me that you are who you say you are, if you'll just give me the grade that I need. I bombed that test. I bombed it. And it has everything to do with my lack of preparation. It has everything to do with me not studying. And looking back, it's a silly story, but looking back, it's really heartbreaking. It truly is. It's a heartbreaking time for me. I've come to grips with it. I use this as part of my testimony, but there is a part of me that my soul just breaks when I tell that story because I remember it vividly. And to know that that was the type of faith, or even lack of faith, can I even be assured of what faith is? To have so many questions and so much confusion is a very heartbreaking time for me. It was a very difficult time for me. But I'm glad that God uses this story for His purposes and uses it for His glory. But we do this as humans. Sometimes even today, we still revert back to that line of thinking. God, if you will simply do this, then I will. We kind of put him to the test, and we try to get God to agree to a deal that he never put forth. And when we do that, and it fails, guess who's to blame? Well, why didn't you? He's looking up saying, I never agreed to any of this. You came to me. You're trying to make a deal with me. I made a covenant with my people. But we do this. Sometimes we do these things. It makes no sense. And it's just silly faith. I don't even feel right calling it faith. It's really just a last resort, an act of selfishness. There's two reasons I bring up this story. We find both of these ideas in our text for today. We're going to be in John 14 once more. I'll give you a moment to turn there. We went through verses 1 through 6 last week. I'd like to pick up where we left off. We'll be in verses 7 through 14 of John chapter 14 this morning. We're going to address the ideas of faith and also of God's will. It'll be a little quicker towards the end, but I do want to get to that point. I'll pose this question first, and like I said, we'll address it towards the end. But verses 13 and 14, I'm going to read that really fast. Okay? Verses 13 and 14. Whatever you ask in my name, that will I do, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask me anything in my name, I will do it. Now I know why I'm on the exam. I asked, but I didn't say, in Jesus' name, give me good grades on this exam. That's all I had to do was just whisper those 3 words, in Jesus' name. Man, I was so close. So I can already, there's already smiles, because you know that. Would that have worked? Yes or no? Of course not. It's silly. It's silly faith. And so what is happening in those verses? We'll get to that. We will get to that point. Let's get back up to speed. Once again, this must have been a very tough night, a very tough event. We'll kind of talk about that. I mentioned this briefly last week. I think sometimes we do romanticize the night before Jesus was crucified. We think it was just a sweet event. But if we really pay attention to what's being said here, this was hard. This was a very, very difficult night, a very, very tough night. Jesus has been spending time with his disciples. This is, again, the night before he's taken away. Jesus has already left. Jesus is already gone at this point. He's washed their feet. He's shown them how to serve one another, how to love one another. He's instructed them and taught them and said, do this Do this in preparation for when I leave. And that's a whole other can of worms. By the way, disciples, I'm leaving. And he's telling them, I'm going to be gone. And they're just scratching their head saying, I don't understand. Why? Why would you leave? Why are you leaving? We've been with you this whole time. Nothing's wrong. We're not ready. We're not ready for you to leave. Probably a really difficult time. That's why I say don't romanticize this. This was hard. This was hard for the disciples. It was also hard for Jesus. Remember, it says he was grieved. He senses the enemy at work. This was a stressful moment. And he's also looking at his disciples and wondering, how do you not see? We're going to see some of that this morning in our text. How do you not see? How have you not come to know? But he's still comforting them. He's telling them the good news that they need to hear. But it is disturbing for them. They have this idea of who the Messiah is. They have this idea of what's going to happen to Israel, what's going to happen to them and their rise and fame. And so now being told, well, he's going to depart, they're thinking, wow, all these plans, they're all just going to fall down. All the promises of the Old Testament are just going to fall down. We're told about the Messiah, and we believe that you're the Messiah, and if you leave, then it's all gone. All that we've been walking with you through. What on earth could we do? What on earth could we possibly do? So he's just told he's going to leave to prepare a place, and that the way that he is going, they know it. That's what leads us to that amazing verse that we read at the end in verse 6. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. That's Jesus speaking on his death on the cross. He's saying, I am the way. I go to prepare a place for you. I go to the cross to prepare the way, so to speak. I am the way. And I go prepare in my crucifixion so that you may be with your Father in heaven for all of eternity. So let's pick right back up when we left off. This is verse 7. Let's stay just there. Let's read just verse 7 to start off our time this morning. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. From now on you know him and have seen him. Now once again, a very tough statement. Tough statement after tough statement after tough statement for the disciples to hear this and to digest this. Think about that first part. If you had known me. What do you mean if? If, like a hypothetical, if you had known me, we just spent 3 years with you. We've been with you constantly. You're always teaching us. You know us inside and out, and we know you better than anyone. So what do you mean if we have known you? How can you say this to us, Jesus? They confessed who Jesus is. They've said and given him titles in the previous chapter. What are they calling him? Lord, Master, Rabbi, Teacher, Lord. They've even confessed, you are the Holy One. They see him as Messiah. And so they hear that question. If you had known me, and they're just amazed. What do you mean? If. How can you say this to us? We have known him. Well, certainly Jesus is connecting that hypothetical with the rest of the verse. There is more to it. Of course, they do know him, but look at the rest. You would have known my Father also. He's pointing to the fullness of God in himself. Yes, you know me. And yes, you are close. And yes, you have an idea of my power. And obviously, special. Obviously from the Father. But they're looking at each other saying, what does he mean by all this? And Jesus is revealing himself to them. The fullness of God stands in front of you. I think this is a good text to remember if you're a note taker. We'll talk about seeing the full picture of who Jesus is in this scene. This isn't from the book of Colossians, chapter 1, famous verses. But if you're a note taker, I would maybe put this down with John 14, Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 and 17. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. See, doctrine is still being formulated. The scriptures are in the process of being written. It's happening from this point on. The narratives are going on now. The events that are being recorded, or that will be recorded, are happening now. So they don't have the full understanding yet. They're close, and they have an accurate idea of who Jesus is. So although they knew something of his deity, they had an idea of his deity. They had this idea that there's something unique in his relationship to the Father. They did not come to the full understanding that this is God in the flesh standing before them. It is one thing to say teacher and Lord. It is one thing to say Messiah, Holy One, but to say God. It is God that stands before us is a major, massive statement. They did not quite understand the fullness of what stood before them. The idea that God would wrap himself in flesh, come to this earth, be born, live life as humans do, and then stand before them. It is a difficult thing for them to digest. And so he's comforting them, while also revealing the oneness that he has with the Father. This is God in the flesh. He is preparing the disciples to walk on without him. He is telling them that they're going to walk by faith. From this point on, you will be walking by faith. So in other words, nothing is different moving forward. You are still going to be walking with God. And this is very much a Trinitarian work here. We see the Trinity through this chapter, or even before. John 13, 14, and 15, I'll argue. So he's saying to the disciples, you have been walking with me. You've been walking with me in the flesh. You will be walking with the Spirit. But you, in all things, you are always under the guidance of the Father. God in the flesh is with you now. You will be walking with God the Spirit. You are always under the watch of God the Father, no matter what. You've been with God. God has been in your presence. And that's the message that he's sending to his disciples. And he ends that verse with, from now on, you know him and have seen him. Once more, is reinforcing the idea that this is God in the flesh with them. You have seen God. And from this point forward, you're going to continue to learn and to walk by faith. It's almost like baby steps, in a sense. You're going to learn what it is to walk by faith. Just as the Father has instructed me and sent me, and you're under his authority and sovereignty, you're still under his authority and sovereignty from this point out. You're still walking with God. But you're going to learn to do so by faith. You do know who God is. You spent time with him personally. They called him Lord. They called him all kinds of titles. But not yet have they used this term, God. Not yet has there been the term God. It was Thomas who said, but we don't know the way, Jesus. We don't know the way. Remember that from last week? We don't know the way. We don't know what you're talking about. We don't know the way. But what happens after the resurrection? You don't have to turn there, you just listen. But if you go to chapter 20, after the resurrection, this is a place that I love to go to, because it points you right back to that night before his crucifixion. Verse 26, after 8 days, the disciples were again inside, and Thomas with them. Jesus came, the doors having been shut, and stood in their midst, and he said, peace be with you. And then he said to Thomas, reach here with your finger and see my hands, and reach here with your hand and put it into my side. And do not be unbelieving, but believing. Thomas answered and said to him, my Lord, and what? My God. Before this, you don't see that. It's just my Lord, teacher, master. Post-resurrection, as they're looking back and remembering all that he's taught, all that he said, you see the confession. My Lord and my God. Now it all begins to make sense. It has been God in the flesh walking with them. The fullness of God in Jesus. He's not 50% God, 50% man. We talk as if he is sometimes. He's not a machine. He's not a robot. He's God. 100% man. 100% God. God in the flesh. And he walked with them. What a blessing. What an honor. What an amazing thing. It's amazing that we get to walk the same earth that God not only just made, but came down and walked himself. We're on that earth. What a blessing. What a blessing it is to know what God will do for his creation. Thomas, again, what's saying? We don't know the way, having their doubts, having his own doubts, and then that exclamation, my God. Amazing. Here we go. Continue on. Listen to Philip in verse 8. Back in John 14. We're going to read a few different verses. I'll stop us. Verse 8. Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father, and it is enough for us. Makes me laugh already. Sound familiar? There's a little barking right there. Here, a little barking. Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father, and it is enough for us. Jesus said to him, have I been so long with you, and yet you have not come to know me, Philip? He who has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own initiative, but the Father abiding in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me. Otherwise, believe because of the works themselves. And there's the test. We're going to get to it eventually. There's the bargaining chip. There's the tool. Well, God, if you'll just do this, then. If you'll just do this for me, then I'll believe. If you'll just reveal, then I'll do it. Making these demands in a question fashion, we put it, it's like it's some type of hypothetical, but we're really commanding God, do this, and then I will. And then you see, even from Philip. I think he's coming from a different point of view a little bit. But Philip is saying, just show us. Just show us the Father, and then we're good. Just show us the Father, and then we'll be comforted. You're trying to make things right. You're trying to comfort us. You're trying to encourage us. Show us the Father, and then we'll truly be comforted. So Philip's not asking, if you'll do this, then I will. He's simply saying, that's going to be enough for us if we can just see. Why would he be comforted in this? Why would this give him comfort? Why would this be a good thing for Philip and the disciples? Again, he's not trying to get something, so to speak. He's not trying to get a good grade or get the new car. That's why I say it's coming from a different perspective and a different point of view. They are looking at Jesus saying, we cannot do this. That is the mindset of the disciples. We cannot do this, what you're saying. What you're telling us tonight, Jesus, is impossible. And now you're going to leave. You're saying that we're going to continue to walk by faith, and the things that you're going to do, the things that we're going to do, is going to happen apart from you? There were times, Jesus, where you were doing miracles, and even in your presence, we couldn't do anything with you here. How on earth are we going to do the work of God away from you? That's their mind. And so Philip is saying, just show us. Just show us what you're talking about. Show us evidence. Give us the Father. Let us see, and then we'll be fine. If you'll do that, then I'll know. Then I'll know, I'll have confidence that we can do this path and do this journey without you. You got to remember, they come from a Jewish tradition. Think of all that you see in the Old Testament. God manifesting himself in all these powerful ways. A pillar of fire, the Shekinah glory, smoke, a burning bush. Philip's saying, you don't even have to show us everything. Just give us something. Just show us the Father, and then we will know. And then we will have confidence. And then, just maybe, will be able to do what you're asking. He did not want a magic trick just for the sake of it. They already believe he is who he says he is. They believe he's the Messiah. They believe all these things. They're not trying to get him to reveal himself even more, even though they don't understand what Jesus has said already. He's simply trying to get some closure on Jesus leaving. Show us the Father. We need to see. This faith thing is just not going to work. And again, imagine Jesus at this point. This is why I say this is tough on everybody. This is a tough night. Imagine Jesus. Imagine Jesus. Imagine if you were in Jesus' mind. Don't want to try to do that. It's not kind of difficult, but imagine his perspective. Imagine his heart. 3 years pouring everything into these men. And they just don't get it. It's easy for us to look at the disciples and look at Philip and say, how could you? We are Philip. We are Peter. We are Thomas. We would have the same reaction. We wouldn't understand. But Jesus has been doing this for 3 years and saying, where is the faith? You've seen me do this. You've heard the truth. You've heard the Father speak the truth through me. You've seen the Father work. You've seen me perform miracles. You've seen and witnessed all of these things, and then you have the audacity to ask that question and to present that to me. Just show us. Have you not seen, Philip? That's what Jesus is saying. Have you simply missed it? Have you not been with us? Have you not been watching? If you saw all that I did, guess what? You saw the Father at work. That's the point. If you were with me, and you saw me, and you heard the Father, you saw the Father. You saw God at work if you were with me. How can you say we've never seen? And so it does come from a heart that is heavy for Jesus. His heart is heavy. Where's the faith? Where's the faith, Philip? Where's the faith, disciples? Countless times you read as he's walking with the disciples, how many times does he say, oh, you men, you men of little faith. Such small faith. They still just did not get it. They would come to know. They would grow in knowledge. They would grow in faith, but for now, the Son of God, God in the flesh, God incarnate, is surrounded by faithless men. Verse 12. Truly, truly, I say to you, he who believes in me, the works that I do, he will do also. And greater works than these he will do, because I go to the Father. Wow. Wow. If there's several messages I wish we could get out to the global church. Just things to remember and encouragements to remember. And I might not have it at number one, but in that list, one thing I wish that we could get all churches to understand, and I encourage you with this morning, I want you to know something about the local church. The local church is a more amazing sign, wonder, gift of God's working in the world than even things you read in Scripture. You say, how do you, well, Pastor, how can you say that? We saw the miracles. How can you say what's happening in the local church is even better? Because it's happening by faith. Because it's still God at work. It's not us in our own power. When people would believe in the New Testament, guess how many, I don't say guess, but look at how many followed Jesus after he did something, right? Think about the feeding. How many were walking and wanted to be fed? Oh boy. I can get something? I can see a magic trick? And then when the hard truths come out, they go, I don't know. But everywhere he went, flocks of people followed. They wanted to see. And there were so many who did come because they witnessed such amazing things they believed. Do you know what it says about the world we live in today? Do you know what it says about the New Testament church? Do you know what it says about the church in 2019? When God is working through human hands and feet, not apostles. We don't have these titles. We don't have Paul running around persecuting and then having this miraculous transformation. We don't have Peter. We don't have Pentecost. And so why are these greater works? Because it's happening through faith. It's God working in the everyday. It's God working through His people. It's God preaching the truth through people. It's God reaching the far ends of the earth through people. Just people like you and me. People exactly like you and me. Even get smaller. You and me. Just us. God's working in this. And when you witness God at work through the local church today, why is it a greater work? Because it's all done through faith. And this is what Jesus is referencing. Disciples, as you walk, you're going to walk through faith, and greater works are going to happen. And then, as generations are removed, and as generations continue on, and as disciples, as you die, as history goes down, it's greater gift, greater gift, greater gift, greater gift. It's an advantage that I leave, is what he's saying. It's even more incredible for the kingdom. It's an even bigger explosion of faith. They witnessed all that Christ did, and where was their faith? Let me ask you this morning, what's your faith? Even if we teeter-totter and have one, it's still a greater capacity of faith than the disciples. You see that? Think about that for a moment. Think about this idea. They were in the flesh with him. You don't need faith. He's right there. And as they went, and as he left, their faith is an all-time low. They give it up. We're done. Back to fishing. They forget. Men of little faith. Raise your hand if you've been visited by Christ. In the sense of physical, reach out and touch him as Thomas did. No. You walk by faith. Each of us, we walk by faith. We are not here. We're not in this city. We're people who walk by faith. Then comes verse 13. This is where we're going to begin to close. Oh boy, have I heard this verse so many times. Y'all know how I feel about televangelists. I don't have to brush over it. It's not because of just righteous anger. It's heartbreak. It makes me weep to know how many are being fooled in the world, tricked. And they want it. They desire it. They're not going to God for God. They're going to God for stuff. And how many times I've seen this verse, these two verses used, I cannot even begin to explain how many times I've seen it used to twist people into just forking over money or for inappropriate reasons. And yet, it's so beautiful and so rich. It gets distorted so quickly. Listen to the beauty in these two verses. Whatever you ask in my name, that will I do, so the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask me anything in my name, I will do it. So once again, I go back to that example. If I had just mentioned those words, in Jesus' name, will you give me the good grades? Will you have done it? No. No. In fact, I'd say pretty much universally. When I open our service with a prayer, an offertory prayer, a lot of times we end it. I think it's a fitting way to end the prayer. In the name of Christ, in Jesus' name. And in your name we pray. Do you know what we're saying when we say that? It's not just like the magic dust we sprinkle and make it all come alive. No, it's not magic words. That's a confession we're making. That's a plea that we're making when we say that. Anytime we say, in the name of Christ, we pray, we are saying, your will be done. Every time you utter those words, you are uttering, God, your will be done. It is almost as if everything that we have prayed for and asked, it's almost like we're in the prayer and we're saying, as long as it's in your will, When you say, in Jesus' name, that's pretty much what we're getting at. I pray for help. I pray that people in nursing home would improve. I pray that those who are sick would improve. I pray that financial blessing, not for selfish reasons, but for good, beneficial reasons. Pray for financial blessings so that we be a blessing to others. Pray that we'd be able to go on mission trips. Pray that we'd be able to do this and to do that. As long as it's all in accordance with your will, is what we're saying when we say in Jesus' name. We are praying for this as long as it is in the will of God. 1 John chapter 5, verse 14. This is the confidence which we have before Him, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. And if we know that He hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have the request which we have asked from Him. To say in Jesus' name, to ask for something in Jesus' name, to go to the Father in Jesus' name, is to say, in accordance with your will, may this be done. And if this is not in your will, may we be the people who accept it. And move as you move. And go with what you are sending to us. And accept your will. That's the prayer. In the name of Christ, may your will be done. It changes how we think of what we ask for. It also gives us a new attitude when He closes doors. That's important for us to understand what God is doing when He closes doors. There are so many of you that can stand up right now and testify. And I mean truly testify. Thank God for closed doors. Y'all, some of you have got some experiences. And when you prayed for something that didn't happen, you're saying, oh, I'm so glad it did not happen. I am thankful for that closed door. And it's in those moments you're saying, I'm glad that was not God's will. He has a better plan. He has a better path. He knew better. And yet we still pray in Jesus' name, as long as your will is done. May your will be done in all things. Jesus is teaching them to rely and to walk by faith. And this is no longer about you, disciples. It's not about what you want. It's not about what you are seeking. Philip, you want to see the Father? You want evidence? You've seen it. But guess what? You're not here to make demands. This is not about what you need. This is about you walking according to the will of the Father. This is about you walking by faith. From now on, you're going to see what He's going to do in you. And you're going to do so by faith. And you see a whole different group of disciples post-resurrection. I think I bring up Acts every other Sunday. What do we see in the book of Acts from these disciples? Whole brand new men. I mean brand new men. The same men, remember, that walked with Jesus, they trembled. Oh, we can't do it. They're crybabies. Might as well give them diapers. We can't do it. Ooh. Always. What happens when Jesus leaves? The church is born. God births His church through these once faithless men. These once faithless men, as they walk in faith, it is the church that is born through. Amazing. More, listen, this is a big statement. Some people might take it the wrong way. More happened in terms of the New Testament church when Jesus was gone. Church wasn't born yet. In terms of what we understand as the New Testament church, it happened apart from Jesus' physical presence. It has always been His presence by faith in the New Testament church. It is today still. You say, no, we. Jesus is with us. Christ is with us. Christ is with you. We hear this talk of the physical leaving, the essential leaving. The disciples were so scared of His physical presence being taken away. And Him leaving. We're not people who operate the same way. We're people who know and cling and love the promise of the Great Commission. I'm always with you. I'm always with you. Brothers and sisters, believers, I'm telling you now, God is with you. Providing paths, opening doors, closing doors, giving wisdom, giving guidance, giving conviction, putting people in your paths to minister to love, neighbors to love, people to share the gospel with, disciples to make, disciples to teach. All these things, God is with you. Walk according to His will. Let's pray.